is confusing. A world where men don't understand women, where women don't get why men are weird. A savior is born. Welcome to the Girls Ask Guys show.
What are you doing? That's not our regular intro music. Quit messing around and play our regular intro. Man, it's hard to find good help these days. Welcome to the 4th episode of the Girls Ask Guys show. This is the show where you are the star. I'm your host, John Newport, also known as Knighted 2170. It's time to sit back, relax, and get ready to learn how to master this thing called life together. Oh, now that we have the intro mess worked out, welcome back, all you Gaxers. Thank you again for listening to the show. Each and every one of you is appreciated. Hey, we got some great questions and opinions coming your way, plus a special announcement towards the end. So without further ado, let's get this kicked off. So we had a slight intro glitch. Well, no we didn't. I know all of you listeners are smarter than that. The truth is we were having some fun in editing with everything that we learned last week in a production course. So we threw that together and included it as something a little different and maybe get a little chuckle out of. Hey, I kind of laughed a little. Big drama movie moment where girls wonder why guys are weird and a world where guys are confused about girls. Hey, I thought it was funny. And if you didn't, well, each to their own. Anyway, let's jump into these questions. The first question is, how do I become marriage material? Now, this is submitted by Pink Graffiti for relationships. And she says, I'm really bad at picking emotionally unavailable men, or for whatever reason, they don't take me seriously. I wish I could figure out what I'm doing wrong. My last boyfriend led me on for 2 years. Yes, I know, shame on me. And after we broke up, got engaged to another woman. I didn't sleep with him right away. I made him wait for an entire month. I'm sweet, kind, and I'm really ready to have something real. But I keep picking these guys that just don't want that with me. I'm bleach blonde, 5'4", 106 pounds, and I just got breast implants. I'd say I'm a decent looking woman, but I can't catch a guy to save my life. Maybe someone can weigh in on this. Okay, Pink Graffiti, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, how do you become marriage material? Well, that's a very broad type of question. The easiest way to give you guidance on this is to look at the most popular character traits that guys find attractive in women. Now, every guy is different, so don't take these traits as a rule. These are nothing more than a guide for you to take a look at what you are doing to appeal to the widest audience. And it's not so much as taking you seriously, it's actually as seeing you as somebody that they can see themselves spending the rest of their life with. And it might be a combination of several things, it might just be a single pain point. So I'm going to do my best to give you a guide to give you the best chance that I possibly can. So here's the traits that I personally look for and the traits that most guys in general also look for. Now, again, don't take these as a hard and fast rule. So the first trait that I have is confidence. Just like girls like confidence in guys, guys like confidence in girls. We don't always want the sweet little mousy girl that always talks in a nice little whisper and she hides under layers and layers of clothing. No, we don't want that. We want a girl who is going to give it to us straight and she's not going to sugarcoat everything. So when we ask for an opinion, she gives us an opinion straight back. She's not going to sit there and try to spare our feelings in every single situation. She's going to tell us what we need to hear when we need to hear it. So that's confidence in a nutshell. Guys find that attractive in many girls. So that's going to dovetail on this next trait, which is being adventurous. Now, some guys, they're going to find that nice little meek and timid girl as some kind of challenge, but they're not going to be the girl that they want to stay with for the rest of their life. They're not marriage material. To put it another way, which isn't very nice or very kind, but I'm speaking from reality, the little mousy girl who's uptight and very timid, she's nothing more than a temporary plaything. I hate to put it that way, but that is the reality of it. They're not marriage material. They're just a challenge to conquer and move on. But for a guy who really likes that kind of girl, it can be very exhausting trying to get her to open up and to try new things. What a guy wants is a girl who has a little bit of recklessness about her life and she's willing to go out and try something that expands her reality just a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying that to go out and try skydiving if that's not your thing. I mean, if you're absolutely terrified of heights and stuff like that, don't get so wrapped up in being adventurous that you scare yourself to death just to impress a guy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about doing things that you normally would not do by yourself, but you have the mentality to expand your horizons just a little bit more with him. Guys find that extremely attractive. Now, the next trait that I'm going to talk about is being high energy. Now, this is something that we don't want a girl doing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We would be exhausted trying to keep up with you. But we do want a girl that can get excited about small things. Being high energy is more like having a childish streak. But at the same time, you can go someplace and you can make things happen. You can get in there and enjoy yourself. You can make magic wherever you are. It doesn't matter. But at the same time, you know when to tone it down and when to turn it up. Like I said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's just going to get exhausting for us. But we don't want somebody that's going to sit in the corner and just sip on your little mojito and look more like a piece of furniture than to actually get out there and make something happen. Okay. That's what we're talking about. You want to be high energy. You want to have that little bit of a childish streak where it's not the same thing 24 hours a day. So be confident, have a little bit of an adventurous side, and add it and sprinkle in a little bit of high energy on top of that. And guys find that extremely attractive. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about intelligence as far as this next trait. Now, with intelligence, I have bumped into girls who are extremely intelligent. But if they dumb themselves down to try and make me feel like I'm smarter, that's a deal breaker. I'm done. I won't put up with that. If you have intelligence and you're able to share that with me to enhance me, to teach me something that I don't know to improve my life, now you're adding value. You're coming in with something that I am seeking. Now, some guys may be intimidated by this, but there are a lot of guys, they will actually brag about how intelligent the girl that they are going out with is. So don't dumb down your intelligence. If you're able to speak on something with clarity and a depth that we don't have, that is another aspect that we find attractive. And that is somebody that we can actually see spending the rest of our life with. This next one is a little bit hard to describe because it's a very general type of concept, but it's a trait that some girls actually lack on, and that is respect for yourself. Now, I know that a lot of people talk about this and they have their own opinions on it or their own definition. I'm going to touch on it just because it's an important trait that you need to have. And the best way to put this is don't let the guy treat you like a doormat. If you're constantly compromising, what you're doing is you are weakening this trait. So if a guy is making comments about how you dress and you completely change how you dress to suit him, then you are compromising. And it's something that some guys will exploit. So don't go down that road. Now, if you want to change a little bit, that's fine. Everybody changes a little bit depending on the person that they're going out with. Let's take music as an example. He may like one type of music and you like another type of music, but the longer both of you go out with each other and you get to know each other, your musical taste will kind of change a little bit. That's fine. But if you are compromising just to have him like you're not showing that you have respect for yourself. You need to put your foot down in areas and say, I'm not doing that. Hope that makes sense. It's kind of a hard trait to describe, but that's the general thing. You don't want to be treated like doormat. You don't want to constantly compromise simply to get the guy to like you. Have respect for yourself and be able to put your foot down and say no. Now, the next trait that I want to talk about is mysteriousness. Just like girls like guys who are a little bit mysterious, guys like girls who are also a little bit mysterious. It helps with the chase and follow. Guys like to chase girls, girls like to chase guys. And the way this works is you don't want the guy to figure you out or know everything about you on the first, second, third date. You want to reveal just a little bit more every time you meet. And the mistake that a lot of people make is that on the first date, they just unload everything in order to try and impress people. And just to make the point, let's say that you're at some kind of social event and this guy comes up and he starts talking to you. And within the first 10 minutes, he's told you that he's some kind of lawyer, CEO, doctor, or some other kind of way out there impressive title type job. And he makes over $1 million a year. And yeah, that's his little Ford Fiesta sitting out there, but his Maserati and his Ferrari are back at home in the garage. That's what I'm talking about. They try to impress people, or they unload everything and just tell you everything that they have done throughout their life up to this point in which they are talking to you right now. You don't want to do that. You want to unveil just a little bit every time you meet. That little bit of mysteriousness helps so that they kind of have a clue as to what the next chapter is going to be. So you want to kind of paint this picture of what the future is going to be like. And you can do that with mysteriousness. Now, the next trait is humor. Now, a lot of people get this wrong. I'm constantly seeing this, I'm constantly hearing this, where you ask a girl or you ask a guy, what do you want in a guy? Or what do you want in a girl? And one of the characteristics or one of the traits that everybody says is humor. They have to have a sense of humor. It's one of those things that you always hear. Humor. They need to be confident. They need to have a sense of humor. Okay, we get it. But humor is something you need to define. His sense of humor needs to match your sense of humor, and your sense of humor needs to match his sense of humor. You have different types of humor. The second part of humor is being able to laugh and play along with silly little games. Now, here's an example of a game that I have fun with. And so far, a lot of the girls that I have gone out with also enjoy this game. Not only is it a way of painting the future, but also finding out a little bit more about them. And it gives into a little bit of a childish streak mixed in with a little bit of flirty behavior. This is an actual date. And what that is going to a store, pick any store or even a mall, and acting like a married couple, designing your house. You can go to a home improvement store and go through and pick out the tiles or the flooring for the living room or the dining room. You can go through and pick out sinks and the kind of tub or shower and kind of design the perfect bathroom. And it's just one of those things where you're kind of going back and forth. It's a silly little game. You're able to laugh with it and just have that childish streak come out and then add in just a little bit of flirty behavior. But it's one of those things that's very effective, and you're able to see and get a little bit better idea of who somebody is while painting the future. So don't be shy. Give that a try. I think you will really enjoy it if you do. And that's the second half of humor. Now, here's the next trait that some girls miss until way later in the relationship. But we're talking like 3, 4, 6 months down the line, and that's flirty touching. And this is one of my personal favorites when a girl is able to do this and she's able to do flirty touching. It's one of the most powerful things a girl can do to a guy. And if you're missing that, he's left guessing. You need to let him know or follow up and reinforce that you choose him. Now, in your message, you said that you made him wait for a month before you actually slept with him. That's your own personal choice. And actually, I don't disagree with that. But even after that point, you need to let him know that you choose him. Just because you slept with a guy doesn't mean that it's reinforced in his mind. Now, to define flirty touching, this can take place just about anywhere. In public, it's great. And if you do it in public, it really works because again, it lets them know I choose you. And it could be a touch on the back, it could be a flirty little shoulder nudge, it could be where you just come up behind them and wrap your arms around them, it could be putting your hand on their shoulder. It's a way of publicly making your intentions obvious to everybody else out there. It's one of those extreme power moves. That's why I say it's one of the best things you could possibly do. Now, the next trait is calmness. And here's the overall concept of what calmness is. And it's that we understand that drama happens. But when we are in a social situation and everybody's friends are gathered around, say you have your friends over, I have my friends over, we're all having this big party, and the gossip starts flying and the emotions start going over the top a little bit, and if those impulsive and emotional decisions are being made back and forth, that we as guys find exhausting, trying to manage everybody all at once. The girl who can stay calm and relaxed during those types of situations and they're able to navigate all those problems that we find attractive. The concept here is that you don't conform to the crowd. You're able to remove yourself just a little bit and be the person that everybody else wants to follow. That's calmness. And that is something that a lot of guys find attractive. But if you're getting involved and becoming emotional along with everybody else and falling into that trap, it's something that we can't see as being long term because now we have to come in and rescue you while also navigating the problems of everybody else in the crowd. So, calmness. Now, earlier I talked about confidence, adventurous, the intelligence, respect for yourself. Well, this next trait builds on top of that, and that's passion. Now, this isn't the romantic passion where you're going to slide up next to him and rub your hand up and down his neck. No, I'm not talking about that. Wrong kind of passion. What I'm talking about is you have a passion for either your career, where you want your life to head, some kind of hobby, some kind of worthy cause. What it shows the guy is that you actually want something more out of your life. You want your life to actually stand for something. And it doesn't have to be for like a worthy cause, your career. It could be that you just want to be a better guitar player. You want to be a better singer. You want to figure out how to repair cars. You want to become a better MMA fighter. Whatever it is, whatever your passion is, what that does is it shows that you are driven to some kind of goal instead of just settling for whatever landed in front of you at some point in your life. That's actually something that a lot of people are actually missing. Whatever you're passionate about, he wants to be able to see himself on that journey with you. Now, along with confidence and respect for yourself and being a little bit adventurous and that calmness, that's where we come into the next trait, which is being decisive. Women like men who are decisive. Where are we going tonight? Well, I made reservations over here. The decision has been made. It takes the workload off of you, and you can just enjoy the rest of the night. However, many guys also want your input. We value your input. We do get tired having to make the decision on everything. We don't mind doing it for a certain period of time, but over long periods, it gets tiring. And eventually, we just stop making the decision. Any woman who has been married for a significant period of time can probably attest to this. You ask a question, he's like, whatever you want. What would you like for dinner? Whatever's in the fridge. And the reverse also happens. When we ask which is better and whichever you feel is best, that isn't helpful. When it comes to decisiveness, a guy is looking for a partner for the rest of our life. We're not looking for arm candy. Arm candy is a temporary thing. When we are looking for a serious relationship, arm candy isn't going to do it. We want somebody who's going to be able to make a decision. Now, the next trait is something that I got when I was a photographer. And this kind of goes hand in hand with confidence, but confidence is its own separate category. This is being comfortable with your own beauty. Now, everybody's got their own body issues, but for some women, it goes over the top. I've known models who got really tied up with, oh, my butt's too big, my butt's too small. Oh, my hands are too big, my hands are too small. I don't like my legs. I don't like this. I don't like that. Oh my gosh. It was almost like I'm talking with these models who will not and do not and cannot find themselves as being beautiful, even though everybody else in the world is saying you are beautiful. You don't have to be a model. Models just took a certain path in order to get themselves photographed for a living. But even the girl that works at McDonald's can be beautiful, and everybody in the world can say that they are beautiful, but they just cannot see themselves that way. Because when they look at themselves in the mirror, the only thing they see is their own flaws, and then they exaggerate those flaws when more than likely nobody's going to notice. Oh, my ears are too big. They stick out way too far. He won't go out with me because my ears are too big. When that's not it. He didn't even notice your ears. That's just reality of it. Now, yes, looks do play a role. They always will. Unless you're forced to, you're not going to talk to somebody that you do not find attractive. That's just how it is. But looks are not as important as being comfortable in your own body. That's one of those traits that if you can be comfortable with yourself and accept your own beauty, you become even more attractive to the other person. So you need to be comfortable with your own beauty. The last one, this is another one of those hard ones to really explain, but it's one of those that really is at the top of my list. This is the trait that ties everything else together. And this is being independently happy. Now, this is being happy with yourself and your life. Now, when you're happy with yourself and your life, everything else around you just radiates. You're able to bring joy and a smile to whomever else you meet. And you're the type of person that accepts and loves yourself and has more good to say about the world and what is going on than you do the bad. That you can, one of the biggest qualities that you have is being single. Because if you're not single, well, then you're not available. Now, with that, you don't need a man in your life. This goes for guys as well. You don't need a woman in your life to complete you. So, that whole movie with Tom Cruise at the end, and he walks up to Renee Zellweger, he's like, you complete me. Bullshit. Okay. That's what I'm going to say there. It's bullshit. If you need a guy or a girl to complete you, then you're never going to be independently happy. It just doesn't work because you're looking for that Prince Charming knight in shining armor who's going to come in and fix your life. No, you're not looking for that. What the guy does or what the girl does when you find them, they enhance your life. That's what you're looking for. You're not looking for them to come in and you complete me. No, you're looking for the guy to come in to enhance your life. He just makes your life just that much better. That's what you're looking for. That's why I say being independently happy is one of the biggest things that you can have. You're not waiting for somebody to come in and fix everything, and all of a sudden it starts raining rose petals and chocolates. You're able to go out in the world and do what you want and fix what you want without anybody else. Be independently happy. That's the last trait. You're setting yourself up to be one of those people that a guy can actually see spending the rest of his life with. Now, does that make you marriage material? Possibly. It definitely puts you on the right path. Now, how can you get somebody to take you seriously? That's an answer I can't give you. All I can do is give you these traits and hopefully give you a roadmap and see you as marriage material. But take those traits, look at your own life, compare the two. If something sticks out as obvious, work on that area. And quite possibly, that might be the answer that you're looking for. Hope that helped and hope that gave you something to think about. This next question comes from dating, and this is posted by 26-year-old CMC93. And she asks, what response would you like to hear from a girl who just turned you down for a date? Now, she gives some examples. No, sorry, I'm not looking for a relationship. You're a great guy, but I'm not interested. And I would rather be friends. Here's what I see in this. In talking to many girls and being turned down many times myself. Now, in your examples, you have two good ones and two not so good ones. Okay, your two good ones are no, sorry, and you're a great guy, but I'm not interested. First part of that really doesn't work. I'm going to explain that here in just a second. Now, most of you girls actually know about that little mosquito. He just keeps coming up and he keeps talking to you every chance he gets. This is the guy that every time you see him coming towards you, the pit of your stomach just drops. And you're just like, oh my God, please, no, 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 don't talk to me. Don't see me. Please don't see me. Please don't see me. Hey, what's up? Oh God. That's that annoying little mosquito. Here's what you do with those guys. You have to be very blunt. You have to be very direct. You only have two options. The first option is being very direct. No, please stop asking. The other one is, I'm not interested. Now, if you want to make it a little bit less punch to the gut, it could be, sorry, not interested. That's the only route you can go. It doesn't matter what I would like to hear. Every guy would like to hear that there is hope in a maybe. So here's an example of kind of how I learned to turn things around and make it very difficult for the girl to say no. Now, yes, it is a manipulation tactic, but it works. The only thing I want her to see is that I have more to offer. And I want to come in very under the radar, very unassuming, so that it's really not a blow to the head that I find you attractive and I want to learn more about you. So here's the example. I'm talking to a girl. We talk for a minute, 2 minutes, and I follow up with, hey, this is great. Would you like to go out for coffee? And I hear this, I'm not looking for a relationship. Well, there's my window. There's my hope in a maybe. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a relationship. Well, that's okay. Neither am I. We're just going out for coffee. And she's sitting there going, uh oh, now where do I go? Well, maybe next time. Okay, Tuesday work? I know what she's doing. She doesn't want to go out. In my younger years, that's what I would do. I would keep going down that path until I broke her down to the point that she actually agreed. Now, I've learned from that. I still follow the same tactic, especially when I can tell that she's on the fence. So let's take the same thing and I ask her, hey, this has been great. Would you like to go out for coffee? Well, I would rather be friends. Well, I wasn't asking you on a date. I was just asking you for coffee. And it's the same thing. There's that hope in the maybe. If you want the annoying little mosquito guy to go away, you need to come up, you need to be direct. No. So let's take the same example of me asking her out for coffee, and we'll do the other two. Hey, that's been great. Would you like to go out for coffee? No, sorry. Now I got the hint. She practically slapped me upside the head with the hint. And I know that she has made her point and she has confidently stated, I'm not interested. Go away. I go on my way. So now let's take a look at the other example where you leave that little bit of hope in there. The conversation goes, and I ask, hey, this has been great. Would you like to go out for coffee? You're a great guy, but I'm not interested. You're not interested in me or you're not interested in coffee. I mean, we can go for tea or a soda if you like. You see where I went with that? There was that hope in there. You don't want that hope. So with somebody like me, it could be followed up that way. Or you're not interested in me or you're not interested in coffee. You want to be careful with that. So, girls, if you want to get rid of that little mosquito guy, you can't look for a response that a guy would like to hear. You have to be very direct. Now, if you're somewhat interested in maybe following up with him later on and it's just not working for you right now, you can follow up with something that leads him to set another time. But if you follow up with something that it's that gray area, and this is just that guy that you're just it just your skin crawls every time you see him, you can't leave that opening. You need to be direct. Don't spare his feelings. Make it known. Otherwise, you're going to sit there and it's going to be that constant, why won't he just leave me alone? Every time you see him. You really can't sit there and look for a response that the guy would like to hear. Every guy wants to hear that there is hope and a maybe. So, CMC 93, I hope that gives you something to think about, kind of puts you on a path to what you're actually looking to try and solve. And with that, we are out of time. I want to say thank you for listening, and it is really appreciated because without you, we wouldn't be here. Now, the next episode is going to be a game changer. That's right, the women are getting a voice. The format is going to change up from just me to two people giving their opinions. Now, don't forget, if you subscribe, you can also join us as a co-host. Just go to girlsaskguys.com, click on the contact page, and let us know. Now, our time is up, so go out there and live life on your terms. Be the star you were meant to be. Now, I hope you join us again so we can master this thing called life together. This has been a production of The Girls Ask Guys Show. Visit us over at thegirlsaskguyshow.com where you can subscribe, submit your questions, and request to be a guest on the show. Go ahead and leave us some honest feedback and let us know how we are doing. We really appreciate everyone listening, and we will talk to you on the next one.